Yay, look at the Twitch stream go. Is it going? Twitch.
Twitch!
Are you going to make me refresh this page? Are you going to make me refresh this page? You're going to make me refresh this page, aren't you? Yes, you did. Is that working? Yes, okay, that worked. All right. Yeah, Dementia Radio now and recording in 3, 2, 1.
Recorded live on DementiaRadio.org, it's the Funny Music Podcast. Brought to you by FuMP.com, where you can download new free comedy songs twice a week. Now, here's your hosts, Devo Spice and the Great Luke Ski.
Filling in for the Great Luke Ski tonight is TV's Kyle. Hi, Kyle.
Oh, is that what I'm doing? Hi!
Well, at least for part of the show, if you'd like. Welcome to episode 716 of the Funny Music Podcast for March 7th, 2024. The title of this week's episode is Cruel Speed, and I will put that in the chat so that we can refer to it later. Yes, Luke, we're doing this on Wednesday this week because Thursday night I'm going to be driving to Pennsylvania because I got to take my son to swim meet. This weekend is states, and once again the New Jersey State Championships are in Pennsylvania, so go figure. So we're doing the show tonight so that I can be driving tomorrow night, and Luke is driving now. He's out doing his job, so he probably won't be joining us. I did send him the link if he wants to dial in, but he probably won't. So let's do the thing.
Let's get caught up with what Devo and Luke have been up to since last week. Or else Devo, if Luke bailed and didn't show up.
Hey, what?
Oh, he's right.
So we'll start with you, Kyle. What you been up to?
Doing a lot of preparing for MarsCon lately. Like, my set list includes a lot of songs that we haven't done live before. And that includes, and actually... that also goes for Scooter Picnic, and so I've had to go back to a bunch of old GarageBand projects and open them in Logic and see what plugins and loops don't work anymore and need to be replaced.
That's always fun, isn't it?
To give you an idea, anything that was my old 8-bit stuff needs to be replaced because the thing I used to use for that no longer works, and I use something completely different for that now. And so, yeah, that involved a bit of work. And then practicing, and there will be premiering a new Scooter Picnic track there, and I had to record something new for SmackDown, or, a new cover for SmackDown.
So you're just doing lots of new stuff
that
this weekend.
And secret pitch things I can't talk about. I'm keeping busy.
Yeah. So you're just doing lots of new stuff this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I will be tuning into the stream and watching eagerly and crying a little bit because I'm not there again. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, actually, because you won't be there, we are I'll break it here for the few people who are listening to this who will also be at MarsCon. Here's your spoiler. I wanted to do a themed set. Lindsay was like, "Hey, either food or animals," because that's most of your songs. And so I'm doing an animal-themed set. And between that and Mario versus Donkey Kong coming out, I decided to do King of Kong. And so Lindsay, since you won't be there, Lindsay won't be doing your rap break, but a brand new one that I wrote as Mayor Pauline.
Oh, cool. Nice. Have you been playing Mario versus Donkey Kong?
Yes, I love it. So
I'm up to
I was a big fan of Donkey Kong 94 for Game Boy, but then I didn't end up getting Mario versus Donkey Kong when it came out for Game Boy Advance because it looked like butt from concentrate. And so I'm happy to have this nice to polish Switch version that has all of the controls of Donkey Kong 94 in a nice not butt looking package.
Yeah, I think I'm up to World 7. I just beat the Ice World, and I think I'm halfway through the Jungle World.
Yeah, so. I think we're in roughly the same place.
Okay. I got to beat it before Kyle does.
Yeah, well, I'm trying not to eat it up too fast because, then I won't have any more.
I remember you saying that about Super Mario Wonder. Have you finished that one yet?
Yes. I'm hopelessly bad at the special worlds, but other than that, I've beaten the whole game.
Yeah, I've beaten the whole game. I've gotten through. I've 100%ed every level, and I'm up to the final test. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I cannot beat that last level.
The special worlds or the final boss?
Yeah, in the special world, there's...
In the special world.
Yeah, in the special world, in the center one, there's a track called the final test. And then once you beat that, you get another... It opens up another path to the final test. And I forget what it's at. It's the final something or other. I think it's the final test. And it's one of these levels where, like... It uses each of the special hats to do something. Like each level, like the first level you have the parachute hat, and then you have like the second level I think is the spring jump or something. No, the spring jump is later, but you get the idea. And like each level is really hard, and it gets progressively harder, and there aren't a lot of like flags to, keep you going. And I've gotten up to the last part, which is the invisibility one. And oh my God, you're trying to jump on thin blocks while your character is invisible. Oh. It's just, it's insane. So I like every so often I try it. I die 35 or 40 times and then I shut it off and I just let it sit for a week.
That sounds like my entire Cuphead experience.
Yeah.
What's your go-to badge? What badge do you use the most?
The parachute hat.
I use the squat jump because I'm such a Mario 2 fan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've gotten so used to just the parachute hat that I use it all the time. I love it.
Yeah, it's a good mechanic.
So, me, I am still looking for a job and still looking for an agent. And my short film Talk to the Hand is done and polished and done.
Yay.
We had a premiere party with the cast last night. I just recently posted some pictures on Facebook and Instagram from that. And people seem to dig it. I've already submitted it to a couple of film festivals. I know it's going to get into one of them. They've already told me, although I haven't gotten the official, notification yet, but they did tell me they're going to accept it. So I'm really happy with it.
Awesome.
I told Luke.
So what are your plans for it after it gets in after festivals?
I don't know.
Are you going to try to get in on any streaming services?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the point of the festival circuit, is to see if any distributor would be interested in picking it up. I don't know what the market's like for short films, though. It's only 16 minutes long. I don't know if like, Netflix or one of those places would pick up, comedy shorts of 2024 or whatever, and then put a package of them together. Kind of like what they did with Love, Death, and Robots. I don't know if there's like a live action thing for that. But I'm going to look around and, see if I can get it, somewhere on something, and because I think it's good enough. People seem to like it. People thought it was funny.
Well, I look forward to seeing it.
I did tell Luke he can screen it somewhere at MarsCon if he wants to, like in a room party or something.
Oh, sweet.
So you guys might be able to watch it this weekend. And other than that, I've just been continuing going through the FuMPFest recordings from last year so I can get this year's fundraiser compilation put together. And I'm up to Sunday, so I only got a few things left. I'm like a third of the way through the game show right now. So we had fun during that game show.
Yeah, we did.
All right. So Kyle, you posted a song.
I did, if you want to call it that.
I do, in fact. Give us a quick intro. We'll give it a listen.
Okay, you ever get just a song stuck in your head and it just like stays there until it like turns into a horrible mutant? This is that.
All right, here is It's a Small Neanderthal by TV's Kyle.
It's a world of objects, a world of stuff. It's a world of things, and I've had enough. I'll ask you not to stare at my long underwear. It's a small Neanderthal. It's a small Neanderthal. Eating churros at the mall. I don't understand at all. It's a small bald squirrel. It's a world of beavers, a world of cheese. It's some white guys all speaking Japanese. I don't care what you say, I am Faye Dunaway. It's a small Neanderthal. It's a small Neanderthal. Pierce your eyelid, that's your call. Peter, Mary, also Paul. It's a tall wall merle. It's a small Neanderthal. Ugh.
So what happened here?
By the way, like listeners who are listening to this with headphones might have heard my cat complaining at the end. I decided to leave.
I just noticed that for the first time, yes.
There are parts of this just like decided to like swirl around in my head, and particularly the I don't understand it all eating churros at the all thing, and I'm like, well, my brain wants this. Who am I to tell it no? And so, not unlike a football, I wrote these lyrics down, forgot about them for a year or two, and then was like, oh, hello, what's this? And like, between this, a football, and some other stuff, I'm like, I think I want the next album to have a lot of short, dumb tracks on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, full-length songs also, but like, what John Linnell of They Might Be Giants refers to as the stink bombs. I want lots of stink bombs on this album.
Okay. I can get behind that. And honestly, like, who am I to say no to my brain is like justification for half of my songs. It's just...
Yep. It's like, at this stage, like, I seem to be recording a string of like the dumbest things I've ever recorded.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
nothing
very
wrong
happy
with that.
about them.
Yeah.
Like a football, super dumb. This, super dumb. The new Scooter Picnic song, which we will be premiering at FuMPCast. Oh, so dumb.
I can't wait to hear it. I think you missed an opportunity here to do this during dumb parody ideas, though. Just put the original music in and...
Yeah, I come up with various things throughout the year that could be dumb parody ideas, and then I either write them down and like them too much and write my own melody for them, or forget to write them down.
So this was one you liked enough to write your own melody to?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
And as Tony Goldmark has enthusiastically told me, I fixed it. So to make the right choice.
Somebody should make a video of this song with just the song playing, but just like home video footage of like somebody on the Small World ride, and just put it up and see what happens.
Just footage of the Small World naked guy from a few months ago.
Yeah, there you go. So you looking forward to MarsCon?
Oh, I so am. I'm so ready. I'm not ready, but I'm ready.
I'm looking forward to MarsCon 2025 because by then Darren will be too old to swim for the Y anymore, so he won't be allowed to go to States. So I will be going
that
to
kid's
MarsCon
21, right? He should be able to drive
year.
himself.
He's 18. He can drive himself. He can't legally stay in the hotel by himself. I think you have to be 21 to check in. but yeah. So this is the last year of the swim meet interfering with my MarsConning. So I will be MarsConning next year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to interviewing Andy Merrill for Kyle and Talk About Tunes. Because there's like a lot about how he ended up in the position that he was in, and like how, Cartoon Planet in particular worked, that I'm very curious about.
It's one of those situations that like nobody could repeat, right? Like if you wanted to get a job,
pretty much.
Yeah, doing what he did, like you can't follow his footsteps because they just don't exist.
Like, I want to know how we went from being a CNN employee to over at Cartoon Network being Brack within a couple of years.
Well, I'm picturing him like in the mailroom at CNN just doing that voice, and people just like shoving him out the door and going, "No, you want to be over there at Cartoon Network."
Okay, buddy. But yeah, I've also I was looking at his Wikipedia page, and apparently there were a couple of pilots for Space Ghost Coast to Coast in which he played Space Ghost.
Oh,
and also if you remember on Cartoon Planet, like the live action Space Ghost that would like dance around sometimes, including to the They Might Be Giant songs they were using for theme songs for a while. That was Andy and Sue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Neat. Did you ever use him on Mighty Magiswords?
No, and I think he kind of hard up at the time. So if I'd known that would have made me think to like try to make a place for him. Like, he's someone I like enough to have put him in Magiswords, but I just didn't think of it. Like it's a weird thing, casting your own cartoon and being able to use like most people that you can think of.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of power. Like, and it's, I'm not someone who, for the most part, I tried to cast not because of who people were, but because of a sound I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And like, sometimes I would, like, for example, when I cast Ryder Strong from Boy Meets World, I didn't cast him because I liked watching Boy Meets World when I was a kid. I did. But I thought of it because I was like listening to the podcast version of Thrilling Adventure Hour, and he was playing a character in it, and I'm like, oh, that's Ryder. Oh, he would be perfect for this character. And so, yeah, it's knowing people from various things opened me up to like put different kinds of people in the show, but I was really, for the most part, going by who would sound good in what role. And so, some of my favorite voice actors didn't end up in the show, and like, Billy West didn't even end up in the show until the back end of season 2 and stuff like that.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, I'll let you justify that to him when you interview him on the show.
Oh God.
Why didn't you use me on the show, buddy?
I don't know.
I'm trying to think of a Space Ghost Magisword pun, and I can't. So, I'm not going to ask you what you've been doing because I know you can't talk about it.
I can, because the show I worked on all last year was Fairly Odd Parents: A New Mission that was finally announced.
Oh, excellent. So tell us about that.
So it is a, I can only say so much, but it is a kind of a time, like, we use the word reboot, but it's not really a reboot because it's more of a time skip. And, the fairies have been retired for a while and are now, godparenting a new kid, a little girl who just moved into her town, Dimmodelphia, and she's, a little weirdo, so she's having trouble fitting in. And so, Cosmo and Wanda are helping her get acquainted. The style's really cool. It's, if you remember the Blue Sky Peanuts movie from a few years ago, it's a 2.5D style like that. Cool. But the 3D guys were, happy to let me go completely insane, and they tried to match my energy instead of telling me to hold back, which is nice. Like, having worked on Fanboy and Chum Chum, I had a certain idea of like what I can and can't do, like, assets are a limited thing.
Yeah.
You can only have so many per episode, and so a lot of it's about like using what you already have. But the faces on the characters are pretty much 2D. Like, so I can do like crazy facial expressions and they can match them because they're basically 2D objects instead of brand new 3D assets that they would have to build.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I got to see the staff only premiere at Nickelodeon a few days ago. And it was really, because I hadn't seen any episodes completely done. I had like seen like little bits and pieces, but I hadn't seen anything completely finished. And one of the ones they showed us all was an episode that I boarded, and I was so happy with the way it translated.
Nice. Any idea when it's going to air?
Yes.
Okay.
I can't tell you. And that's partially because it might change between now and then, because it's apparently already changed a few times now. But yeah, I know when the tentative air date is, but I don't know when it's actually going to air. One thing that I recently found out, I thought it was going to release on Netflix because they partially funded it, but it's apparently like international Netflix funded it, and so it won't be releasing that way here.
Okay.
I assume it'll be out in some digital means after the episodes initially air on Nickelodeon, because they do that with most shows. But I don't know if that's going to be Paramount Plus or just for purchase on Amazon. I don't know that yet, but I assume it'll be something like that, because that'll be the only way I can watch the show. I don't have cable.
Me neither.
So we'll see what happens.
Yes. When that comes out, definitely let me know. I'm interested in that. I really liked the original Fairly Odd Parents when it was on. So
I'll make a lot of noise about it once it's up.
Cool.
The social medias.
All right. So do you have anything you'd like to plug?
My social media right now is pretty much limited to Instagram, which is TVSKYLE. If you actually know me, you can follow me on Facebook, but I also have a TV's Kyle account there that everybody can enjoy. But yeah, so done with Twitter. So done with Twitter. No more of that. And I'm so done with that I'm dead naming it.
Well, not really, because the website is still twitter.com. If you go to x.com, it redirects you to twitter.com. So until he renames the website, it's Twitter. It's right there in the URL. So, but branding. Yeah, I canceled my account last year, and I did the data takeout thing. So I have all my tweets and stuff, but I shut down my account a long time ago.
I just kind of blocked mine. That. I still like to go there to try to find cartoon screenshots and tokusatsu leaks. So I don't want to completely close, but I'm not active there. Also, tvscale.bandcamp.com, as usual. I am planning on releasing some stuff this year, including you're probably aware of my TV's Kyle Sings the Cartoons project, and it never quite got finished, never got released.
Mm-hmm.
And so I plan on adding a few things to that, and including something you might hear this weekend at MarsCon. And then finally polishing that and releasing it.
When is your concerts at MarsCon?
Saturday, I think Scooter Picnic, and then a couple other things happen, and then TV's Kyle.
All right, cool. And your cartoon project, does that have the theme to Megas XLR in it? And if not, why not?
Maybe it should. I'm good friends with one of the co-creators.
Are you really?
Schaefer, and so yeah, he'd probably really enjoy it if I did that.
Because I love the show, and I met the creators at Dragon Con years ago. But I love the show, but that theme song is just amazing. All right, I'm gonna move on to news and tour dates and play Lauren's song and interview and stuff. You gonna stick around? Or are you taking off?
I will hang out until the next interview starts.
All righty then. Let's do a promo.
This song is about where we are right now.
The world's longest running comedy music concert series is back.
Having a good MarsCon? Fantastic.
MarsCon 2024 is taking place March 8th through 10th at the Hilton Minneapolis St. Paul Mall of America Hotel in Bloomington, Minnesota.
Oh, I just did the thing where I ad-libbed so long that it got awkward.
Have fun and get wasted. Tell me more.
This year's event will have performances by The Great Luke Ski, TV's Kyle and Linzilla, Insane Ian, Power Salad, Meow Meme, Nuclear Bubble Wrap, Holy Bong Water, Scooter Picnic, Jake Dewar, and this year's comedy music guest of honor, Cartoon Network legend Andy Merrill, the comedian behind the demented sensation that is Brack.
I like hubcaps, I like laundry, I like waffles, I like ant farms, I like recess, picnic, and eating pork and beans.
Registration for a weekend badge is $70. To pre-register and for more info on MarsCon, visit marscon.org.
That's not creepy at all. I'm gonna write my mom tonight. What did you do today, Bonnie? I drank water. Everyone screamed moisture at me. It was great. It's a bit.
But whether you're attending or not, you can still help out by ordering the MarsCon 2024 Comedy Music Track Fundraiser album. Available as an MP3 download for $30. It's just under 4 hours of highlights from all the live concerts of
MarsCon 2023.
So, Bryn,
Yes.
next year when you're editing the fundraiser album, the most important thing you remember is to include this clip of me right here telling you to put this in the fundraiser album.
This year's album includes comedy music by MarsCon 2023's music guest of honor, Bonnie Gordon.
Acknowledged. Sing with me just for today. Maybe tomorrow, careless will take you away.
If you'd like to hear a free 30-minute preview of the collection, there's a link to download that at our website.
I don't know what I'm recommending you do. I have no good advice for you, but they gave me a microphone, so it makes my opinion sound important.
You can order and download the album right now from the shop page at marsconcomedy.com.
That sounds like a brilliant idea.
I forgot my emotional support spatula at home.
Thanks for listening, funny music fans, and we hope to see you all at MarsCon 2024.
Thank you, MarsCon.
Thank you, MarsCon.
Let's say yeah one more time. 1, 2, 3. Yeah! Peace!
Time for funny music news. Something.
In the news, as we mentioned last week, Marc Gunn has a new album out called Come Adventure With Me, now available on his Bandcamp page at marcgunn.bandcamp.com. And Via Bella's new album is also available on their Bandcamp page. Live in Germany, it can be found at viabellaband.bandcamp.com. And Rand sent me some copies of the CD, so I will get those up in the FuMP store shortly. I'm going away for the weekend, so not till next week, but soon. Speaking of the FuMP store, I think I got it working. It's not live yet, but it's the payments are working on the staging site, so I'm going to launch that tomorrow and hope for the best. I'm not doing it tonight because if shit goes wrong, I don't want to be up all night fixing it. So I will launch it in the morning, and hopefully we will be back in business. All right, the MarsCon fundraiser. I've reached their initial goal. The amount towards the first stretch goal currently raised is $497.60 as of today, which is 82% of the way towards the goal, with 2 days left until MarsCon. We need to sell 4 more copies to hit our goal for another roughly $109. Please visit MarsCon Comedy. Yeah, right?
Just buy one.
4 more people. I'd say the people listening, but there's nobody watching us on Twitch right now. So, well, there's one person, but it's me because I'm watching the stream. So please visit marsconcomedy.com and click on shop to pick up this year's album for just $30. All right. That's all the news I got. Kyle, you got anything before the tour dates?
Yeah, just to correct myself from earlier because we were moving at such a cruel speed. The schedule is actually on Friday, March 8th at MarsCon at 11:15 p.m. That is when the Scooter Picnic concert is on, and then on Saturday, March 9th at 3:30 p.m. That is when the TV's Kyle and Zilla concert is.
All right, sounds good. All right, tour dates. On Sundays in Nashville, Tennessee, Steve Goody hosting at the Bluebird. On Sundays online, Two Sleeps. Mondays online, Steve Goody and Brad Tassel at virtualcomedyshow.com. Mondays and Wednesdays online, Bill Larkin. On the 8th online, Carla Ulbrich. The 8th through the 10th in Bloomington, Minnesota, Andy Merrill, Jake Dewar, The Great Luke Ski, TV's Kyle and Lynn Zilla, Insane Ian, Power Salad, Nuclear Bubble Wrap, Holy Bong Water, Scooter Picnic, and Meow Meme at MarsCon. Notice the lack of Devo Spice on that list. We'll fix that next year. On the 9th in Howell, New Jersey, Carla Ulbrich. The 15th and 16th in Alameda, California, Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction.
Yeah!
On the 15th in Rochester, New York, Worm Quartet. On the 16th in Morristown, New Jersey, Carla Ulbrich. And on the 17th online, Escape from the Secret Lab, featuring the Consortium of Genius. And birthdays coming up on the 11th, Derwood Bowen. Happy birthday, Derwood. All right, that's it. Second song of the week is the new one by Lauren Mayer. I'm going to play her song and then her interviews. So, Kyle, you got anything else before you take off?
No, I'm getting out of here.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us.
Have a good MarsCon, everybody, with me. And if you're not there, come look at my face online anyway.
I'll be watching and crying to myself from my hotel in Pennsylvania.
From laughing so hard.
Yes. Hey. All right, thanks, dude.
See ya.
Bye. Here is Lauren Mayer's new song, Cherry Picking the Bible.
I thought gay rights were here to stay, but right-wing holdouts disobey, defending homophobia with religion-based myopia. But if that's why you're resistant, you ought to be consistent. You're just cherry-picking the Bible to block equality. The proof is undeniable of your hypocrisy. You apply selective economy to what you do from Deuteronomy. You can't just choose which rules you will obey. If you cite the Bible, then follow it all the way. It also says pork and shellfish you can't eat, and don't go mixing milk and meat. On Sabbath no work can you do, and it's a sin to get a tattoo. Mixed fabric clothing never wear, and never trim your beard or hair. If all that you don't follow, your argument's hard to swallow. Cause it's cherry picking the Bible to say there's no Adam and Steve. That logic isn't viable with so much else you don't believe. Don't rail against same-sex till you observe each word of Exodus. You can't just choose which rules you will obey. If you cite the Bible, then follow it all the way. The Bible also okays slavery and says women are husbands' property. Men can have a lot of wives. Non-virgin brides should lose their lives. And if kids commit gluttony, then they get the death penalty. If all that you don't observe, then you've got a lot of nerve. You're just cherry-picking the Torah to redefine reality. Like the sin in Sodom and Gomorrah was actually lack of hospitality. Plus the so-called gay menaces not mentioned once in Genesis. No skipping the scripture bits you don't want to use. If you cite the Bible, you can't just pick and choose. Just pick and choose. Plus the line you've quoted all along says laying with another man is wrong. So I guess it's fine to do it standing up, sitting or swimming. And it doesn't say a thing about two women. So the Bible's kind of like porn. You're just cherry-picking the good book to say men can't marry men. If you homophobes just would look, we've all evolved since then. I mean, even the most Semitic us ignore most of Leviticus. You're just cherry-picking so you can discriminate. No need to get all blistery. You're on the losing side of history. You're cherry-picking to justify your hate. You use the same lame rationalization for laws against miscegenation. Quit cherry-picking the Bible to block equality. Quit cherry-picking the Bible. Oy vey.
I'm here with Lauren Mayer. How you doing, Lauren?
I am great. Good to talk to you.
You too. So tell us about this song.
Well, this is one I actually wrote a while ago and then kind of put in my trunk and then pulled out with all the, new decisions about, that are based on real biblical definitions and kind of getting rid of church and state separation. But I had written this a long time ago, inspired by a West Wing episode. And I don't know if you remember the one where they had a character, it was sort of like Laura Ingram, or Dr. Laura. No, it was a Dr. Laura to kind of take off, and claiming that gay marriage was wrong because it said it was wrong in the Bible. And so Martin Sheen, playing the President Bartlett, kind of went after her, saying, "Oh, good." So because he was a strict biblical scholar and had been a Jesuit educated, I think he might have even thought about the priesthood. So he just goes into her. So should I stone my children to death by myself or bring them together for gluttony? I went through all these various other things from Old Testament laws that were not obviously being, and it's like, basically you can't just pick and choose if you're, and I'd seen a few things like that. So I wrote a song about it. And
I've never watched The West Wing, but I've seen that clip.
Oh yeah, people pull that out a lot because it's great, but it's also true. And I'm Jewish. We wrote that stuff, my people, it's like, and we studied it in Hebrew school when I was a kid, and then they were a lot more open about it with my kids. I grew up in the 60s and 70s in Southern California. It was a very hippy dippy synagogue. And it was like, this is all just vague, Probably the Red Sea parted because Moses understood about tides and the Egyptians were stupid. And, so we weren't ever told to take all this stuff literally, but they actually discussed it with my kids' bar mitzvah classes about, there was a lot of awful stuff then, but we don't do that now. And somehow, the religious right has decided they have to do all the things they want to do that the Bible says, but they don't have to do any of the other stuff. So, and I saw a phrase that's cherry picking, and I thought, perfect. So that's the song.
Nice. Excellent. Yeah.
I know. And then, I thought, oh, that's going to be old history. We've got gay marriage. Everything is fine. We have, access to reproductive rights.
What's
Everything's
funny
fine.
is I grew up Catholic, but I grew up in Connecticut, which is a very liberal state. And I somehow made it all the way through, all the sacraments I did in church, 4 years of Catholic high school, into college and past college before I learned that the church had a problem with gay people getting married. Like it wasn't until I was in my early 20s, I was out of college, that I read an article in the paper in Rochester that a priest had been sanctioned by the church and was being transferred to another diocese because he was performing gay marriages. And I was like, why is that a problem? What do they have? What's going on? And that was when I started hearing about it. Somehow I went my entire life without knowing any of this.
Wow. Yeah. It's interesting.
As a kid, I just assumed gay people could get married. It's like, why wouldn't they be able to?
Exactly. I know. I knew some of it because we had some gay family friends growing up and knew they couldn't get married. But our synagogue that where I lived when my kids were growing up, they performed gay marriages before they would do interfaith marriages. And they decided, if we're going to be open to that, we should probably allow interfaith also. But yeah, it's
gays are fine as long as he's Jewish,
Yes,
we
exactly.
draw the line somewhere.
Yeah. So, I remember telling my mother, my gay best friend, and I, when I was living in San Francisco, right out of college, and after New York, and my gay best friend and I talked about getting married because we were both having trouble finding a nice guy. And so Mom knew him because I'd known him since college. And so I said, Andy and I are thinking of getting married. And she said, well, there's a problem. He's not Jewish. And I said, Mom, maybe his being gay might be, there's your poochie, might be a little bit more of a problem. And at the time she was very ill-informed and said, they can fix that. I said, no, actually they can't. And I don't know who they is, but anyway, gay marriage. Anyway, when I wrote the song, I thought, this is going to be obsolete soon because we have, and we're least half the country is going straight towards Handmaid's Tales. So let's just remind people all this biblical. It's one thing if they say, let's put all these rules in place because we're bigots and we want to keep women and gay people in their place. At least be honest. But they're not. They're justifying it by biblical things. And if you're going to do that, you can't just pick the stuff about gay people and women being subservient to men. You also have to, kill people who mix their crops.
My favorite thing I saw online was a guy who had the verse from Deuteronomy about a man shall not lie with another man.
Yeah.
I think Deuteronomy. Had that tattooed on his body. And like the very next verse in Deuteronomy forbids tattoos.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, I'd have more respect for him if he tattooed that on his body, because at least that's ironic, but
yeah, it's I gotta keep laughing because
gotta keep from crying somehow.
Gotta keep from crying. And now I have people who like talk me off the ledge, write me a funny song about this. So
yeah, I'm the parent of a transgender child. I told him do not set foot in the state of Florida ever again.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Florida, Alabama, most of the South. And I feel sorry. I mean, yes, it's very easy for us in liberal states to say, just move to the blue states. We'll love you here. But if your whole, childhood, growing up, family connections are all in a red state. Anyway, not to turn the FuMP into politics, because this is about funny music. Yeah. But I think, and I've had my time. I mean, there was a whole comedian who wrote this article about, I've got to stop telling Donald Trump jokes because he's not funny. He's an existential threat to democracy and freedom. And if we laugh at him, we're trivializing it. And I see his point because I think he got away with a lot of stuff in 2016 because people thought he was such a buffoon.
I don't think anybody thought he was going to win in 2016, including him.
Exactly. He just did it for brand awareness stuff. But the fact, I mean, it's not like he started some amazing shift. The Republican Party has had this in it for a long time. I mean, Reagan with the welfare queens and the swift boating and there's been anti-liberal crap for a long time in the party, but they just covered it up and they weren't, as obvious about it and as ill-educated, but or at least ill-informed. But I think we have to laugh at it because if we don't, we'll just kind of get so overwhelmed by all the outrage, we'll collapse. So. Yeah. There was this great, I was a history major and I love history. And there was a show in England during World War II and a radio program, obviously. And it's considered the first sketch comedy show. It's called It's That Man Again, or ITMA, ITMA. And so look it up, listeners, because it's a great illustration of how comedy can be useful. And it was all these, it was making fun of the British government. It was making fun of British public figures. The characters all had really silly names. The only one I remember is Mrs. Mop was the charwoman, MOPP, and there was a Colonel what's his name or something like that, or Colonel Bluffs a lot, that kind of thing.
Okay.
But a regular character was Hitler.
Oh,
and they totally made fun of him, including during the Blitz, when there was a good chance that Londoners were going to say, fine, we give up. You're bombing our cities, smithereens, take England. And they didn't. And a lot of the reason, at least some historians attribute to the fact that listening to this show in their bomb shelters every night gave Londoners the strength to withstand all the pressure of being bombed and not going to Churchill and saying, give in, we don't care anymore. They stayed strong. And so, not that I'm aligning what I do to a radio show that helped during World War II, but I think with all of us, anybody, even if your funny music isn't about politics, God, I'm getting on a soapbox here. Even if your funny music isn't about politics, you are putting laughter into the world that helps alleviate stress. And if you're commenting on current events, you're helping people get through really tough times. So
yeah, I see both sides and I appreciate both sides. But one of the reasons I don't do political humor for the most part is because I'm trying to create an escape from the horrors of reality. I would rather live in a fantasy land when I can,
But that's what's so great about something like FuMP is, okay, today I'm looking at music and that she commented on that story. I want to hear that. Or no politics. I'm just going to listen to a funny song about, my favorite TV show or whatever. And I think both are equally valid.
Yeah, we've got plenty of both, you know.
Yeah. And I've sort of developed I mean, there are times I used to do maybe once a month a non-political song. There's just been too damn much to write about lately. So
you're never going to run out of material. So.
Oh my God. But yeah, I may occasionally, just nothing. I mean, I actually wrote a whole song about teaching my kids to drive, which was like where my hair went gray. You know, there's other stuff in life besides politics, but it's just, anyway, there's too much material.
Yeah. All right. So do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to be both in person and online at a theater in San Francisco called The Marsh, which is themarsh.org. And I'm part of their Monday night Marsh Stream program. So if you go to themarsh.org, you have to kind of hunt around, but look for Marsh Stream or Monday Night Marsh. I'm doing an excerpt of my Jewish Mother show. It'll be Monday, March 18th. The show starts at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 Eastern. It's free to stream. It's like $13 in person if you're in San Francisco. I'm the fourth of 4 performers. So the other people went a little long last night. So I went on about 8, 10. I should be going on about 8 if they tighten up their sets. And I'm also going to be doing a tour to be determined. I have a new show which isn't politics, although it involves anti-Semitism and misogyny. So maybe it is about reframing the Jewish mother stereotype. And I've turned my album, which I've sent some songs into FuMP, I've turned that into a TED Talk. So all about how the stereotype evolved and what we can do to change it. And trying to find new Jewish mother jokes that aren't mean. So I'm taking that to synagogues, Jewish community centers. And if you are in a city where I know people I can stay with, I don't even have to charge that much because I can write it off and I have a place to stay. So if you're in a state or a city that has anything Jewish, like a Jewish community center or a synagogue, email me at lauren@laurenmayer.com and I'll try to bring my show to you.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's good to see you. And one of these days I'll get back to FuMPFest and see you all in person.
Sounds good. All right.
All right. Thanks.
Later.
Bye.
Making the internet absolutely ridiculous. Dementia Radio.
www.dementiaradio.org. Port 8027.
Please hang up and try again.
This is the part where there's feedback. Feedback. You know that segment of the show we do about now? Feedback. Feedback.
Feedback.
Alvarant
wrote, Devo, how is the job hunt going? Any chance the acting and filmmaking will become a viable career? Thanks so much for the Spotify playlist each week. I enjoy listening to it while exercising. Well, the job hunt sucks. In January, something like 35,000 developers got laid off from various tech companies. I don't know if it was a coincidence or if it was a concerted effort or just a sign of the economy or what, but I have a lot of competition right now looking for a job. And I've submitted several dozen resumes to several dozen positions and haven't had so much as a callback yet. So it's probably going to be a while. As for acting and filmmaking, that's the hope. But it's a real long shot, you know. I kind of really got to get lucky. So, but you know, it is what I'm focusing on right now. So we'll see what happens. And A-Log.
Oh my God, it's you, not again.
A-Log wrote, am I the only person on planet Earth that thinks Spotify, along with certain other streaming sites, is nothing but digital payola? I've looked at the Billboard charts a while back, and I saw that nearly the entire album from Drake and Taylor Swift, respectively, gained several spots on the Hot 100. Spotify has pretty much given out participation trophies to songs that are normally B-sides and album filler. Then again, no one has yet to do that for any of Weird Al's other parodies, just in case they want to beat the system. And there's nobody watching on Twitch, but my bandwidth keeps dropping out, so I don't know if it matters, but we'll see what happens when I have to download the video. Yeah, Spotify and the other streaming sites have had a big influence on the charts because of the way that they work. Previously, like, you know, they'd release an album and they'd release a single, and that the single is what the radio stations would play. And so that was the song that became popular. With Spotify, people can listen to whatever they want. So, you know, they do still release singles, but there may be some other song on the album that gets popular, or several songs on the album that get popular. So those streams get counted, and that helps push them up the charts. So it's not unusual now to see like a top 40 chart with like 7 songs from one album on it. And I don't know what that does to the value of the chart, but it's just weird. All right. That's it for feedback.
Teasing. He's a teasing kind of guy. Now you have a joke.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's song is by Via Bella. And Tuesday's song is by Scooter Picnic. And this week's Spotify playlist topic, I'm going to do nonsense songs. And even though Kyle's song isn't up on Spotify yet, I will pick some songs that are. And I'll update that tomorrow, so it'll go up Thursday night. All right. That's it for this week. TV's Kyle can be found at tvskyle.bandcamp.com. And Lauren Mayer can be found online at laurenmayer.com or on YouTube at Psycho Supermom. And don't forget to tune in to the Dementia Radio stream and Twitch stream this weekend for MarsCon. I believe MarsCon Dementia or MarsCon Comedy on Twitch. It's one of the two. It'll be linked from MarsConComedy.com, I'm sure. So tune in to MarsCon this weekend. All right. Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. I'm Devo Spice, and Kyle was here, but Luke wasn't. MarsCon.
Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. You can listen live every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific at DementiaRadio.org and join us in the chat. Or subscribe to the podcast feed. Look us up on iTunes and be sure to leave us a review. Feedback for the show can be sent to info@thefump.com. The Funny Music Podcast is a production of Fidem Interactive, LLC, released under a Creative Commons share-alike license. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, shout it to random people on the street, and be sure to visit thefump.com for the latest funny songs. Tune in next week where you'll hear Luke Ski say,
MarsCon!